Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. He'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived.
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Today is Thursday, the 28th of August. Our sun sign is Virgo. Our moon sign is Libra. So we have Earth for our conscious mind, our sun sign, our unconscious mind, Libra, air. So Earth and air are the two. Conscious mind, Earth, unconscious air. Air is words and actions. Earth, physical things, practical world, the physical world, the body, things we create. The hermit shines the light high for others to see. The hermit represents Virgo, whereas justice represents Libra, which is about balance, karmic balance. Looking to find our words and our actions to help balance out the things that we're doing. 11:44 a.m. we have a sextile between the moon sign Libra and Jupiter, which is expansion. So with Jupiter, you're always expanding the area. So we're having an expansion of the area of Libra. Libra, air, words and actions to help deal with our karmic situation that balance each other out. So we're having an expansion of these ideas around us. So just pay attention as the world becomes expanded. There's good opportunities that present themselves at those moments of expansion. Sometimes we say things just seem stagnant. When are things going to change and evolve? Well, when expansion is around, when Jupiter takes place, things change because the expandedness of the ideas. And then later this afternoon we have a lesson, a square. This is between Pluto. Let me fix this so you can see it a little better. There we go, right here. Between Pluto and the moon sign Libra, a square, a lesson. So Libra, which is the words and actions that we're expressing, comes against Pluto, deep transformation. And Pluto wants us to really understand the responsibility for what it is that we're saying and what we're doing. And this comes after the opportunity to expand that energy has occurred. Our numerology for today is the number 7. Here's how we arrived at the number. 8 plus 28 plus 2014. Altogether that adds up to a 16. 8 plus 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 0, 1 plus 4. 16. 1 plus 6 is a 7, so today would be a 7 day. We reach this process is called theosophic subtraction, continuing to reduce the numbers down to one single number. When you have a single number that's between 1 and 9, now you have the numbers that make up the individual, the single digits of numerology that you can look at and help to understand. You can also relate them to the tarot card, which is what I like to do as well, to help get further understanding. So in this particular case, let's take a look at a 7. You're familiar with all of these positions and all of these numbers because they seem like we've had the same ones over and over lately. So the 7 is right here, the Chariot. Virgo is right here, and Libra is right here. Okay, so on this particular side here with the 7, we've gone through understandings, the discipline of understanding. Now we have to apply that understanding to what it is that we know. One of the things that's important is sometimes when we have a tough go of things, sometimes we feel that we have to pass that toughness along to others as if it's part of the process. And that's not necessarily true. Sometimes we just come out of this place where we've really gone through some intensity, some discipline, and now we just want to try to pass that along and share that discipline with others. Might not be necessary. So we just also need to pay attention, because that's part of the lesson as well. Part of the lesson. If we look at the highlights of the tarot today, let's see. We've looked at Virgo pretty good. We've looked at Libra pretty good. It's been a while since we've looked at number 7, the Chariot. So let's take a look at this one today, see what the Chariot's about. So again, you know, this is about Cancer. Hebrew letter Chet means fence. All of this is about enclosing spirit within. So you have a person in the vehicle of the Chariot. The person is also a vehicle for spirit. You have the armor, which is a vehicle for the person. You have the person holds the spirit. The armor protects the person from the emotions that get in to affect the spirit. The vehicle drives forward because spirit is allowed to charge forward and allowed to drive the vehicle. Therefore, all the riddles, the blacks and the whites, the opposites of life, are resolved. The riddles are solved, and we're able to move forward in life. The yellow in the background is the mind at work. It says the charioteer is the inner self. The sphinxes are the senses. The reins by which he drives them represent the mind. The chariot itself is the body, and it is drawn by the sphinxes. Advancement in occult work depends upon the realization of the facts portrayed in this key. For it is only when we understand these facts that we allow the real self to guide our personalities. The chariot is a victor. This key represents the conquest of illusion. The idea of enclosure, protection, etc. is suggested in a number of ways. The Hebrew letter Chet means fence or palisade. The sign Cancer attributed to key 7 means crab, an enclosed crustacean. The chariot, the armor of the rider, the wall in the background, the batteries, the towers are all symbols of the same idea. The starry canopy represents the celestial forces whose descent into matter is the cause of all manifestation. On the shield in front of the chariot is the Hindu lingam yoni, as symbolizing the union of opposite forces. Above the shield is the winged globe. The globe is the sun. The wings represent the alchemical element of air, which carries the power of the solar rays. The wheels represent rotation or cyclic activity. The scepter, a combined crescent and figure 8, symbolizes the combined powers represented in turbo by the magician and the high priestess. So a lot of symbolism in all of these cards. And if every day, you just keep this link available to the builders of the Adytum. Every day if you go, pick one card and go over it, you'll learn a lot. It's that simple. All the little details will sink in. Waxing moon, making our way up from a new moon to a full moon, 8% of the way there. See a little sliver. See it when you look in the sky. It says the great square of Pegasus is now well up in the east. As soon as nightfall is complete, it's larger than your fist at arm's length and currently stands on the corner. Seen from the latitude at your time, how close is the brilliance? Perfect. Okay, do we see anything right here? Nope, we've got coming up tomorrow, but we don't see the one yet for tonight. Over on the Mayan Oracle, today's a 3-tone day, which is called the electric tone of service or activation. Today I have the the wind, guided by the World Bridger. The wind is inspiration. World Bridger is the lesson of life and death. We're on the wave spell here of the sun, 3rd position. The wind, inspiration of enlightenment. Phrase for today is I activate in order to communicate bonding breath. I seal the input of spirit with the electric tone of service. I am guided by the power of death. Space weather, the solar wind is currently at 363.7 kilometers per second. Planetary K index is 3 to 5. So we do have some activity, a storm going on out there over the course of today. We'll definitely see how we are affected by that. Coronal holes, we do have this big one which seems to be facing directly our way. No notice that we're going to feel anything from it. I'd have to imagine that we will, and that will be some sort of notification in the next 24 hours, because well, this is directly ahead of us, and we know that off of these coronal holes we definitely have solar wind blowing about. M-class flare possibilities drop down to 30, X-class down to 5. Geomagnetic storm activity is up to 35 in the mid-latitudes, 20 in the high latitudes. And on the Jewish calendar, we're on the month of Elul. Right here, we're on the second day of Elul. And the daily study says healthy space. So obsessed with his own self and his own space, he fits each person into a rigid box to suit his egocentric world. Those who fit are friends, those who don't are called all sorts of names. Healthy human space flows and mixes. It makes room for 1,000 others. Alright, very good. And that gets us started today with all of our cosmic weather, opening thoughts, so on and so forth. Brings us up to UFO news. Let's get to it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story takes us to Crosse, Wisconsin. There's their object in question, calling it a triangle. So they're saying it's part of one object. Interesting UFO sighting of a triangular-shaped formation in the night sky above La Crosse. It was recorded this month. 1 minute and 35 seconds is the length of the video. This is Master UFO. Alright, just going to zip ahead a little bit here. There's our object in question. It's kind of faint at the moment. Right here. There you go. You can see the 3 triangular lights right there. Or 3 lights of the triangular. Okay, moving on. Here it says police backs up UFO sighting over Pennsylvania. Police backs up residents report multiple UFO sightings over Lower Paxton Township in Pennsylvania. Then police backed them up. They also saw it. Mysterious phenomenon happened Monday the 25th. Alright, here we have the news report. And basically the only important part here is we have a UFO sighting. That's the important part. The fact that a police officer confirmed this, whoop-de-doo. These days and age, in this day and age, words of police officers really don't have too much credibility, especially when they're out there abusing their power. So again, whoop-de-doo that a police officer saw this. What's most important is that others saw it as well. Alright, so let's move on from there. Alright. There we go. Now we're going to move from there over to more red orbs, and UFO orbs are plaguing the California coast. Here's a 3-minute, 28-second news report. It says people reported seeing at least 10 red circles in the sky above eastern North Carolina this past weekend. After one woman took a video of the event, she learned other people have been seeing the mysterious orbs as well. Kelly Burke said that she spends plenty of evenings on her back porch, but never had seen anything like the red circles before. That's when they started coming off the horizon one by one. They would all completely disappear in the same spot. The same spot. So it would go from there to there. Poof, it's gone. Burke, her husband, and daughter all saw the lights together. She said there were a total of 10, and each flitted across the sky at level elevation. Burke says the glowing objects were too symmetrical to be flares and too level to be floating lanterns. Okay, more to the article, a lot more to the article. All right, there we go. There's our orange. Okay, so check out the link. See what you think. Okay, moving on. Here's over Oregon on the 26th. Night vision. Flashes were observed over 2 nights in the Oregon skies. They remain in general location and sometimes flash brighter or dimmer between 8 to 10 seconds apart. The object flashes and pulses for over half an hour and shortly and no longer visible. This is a strange one indeed. One of my friends just reported seeing the same event. He lives about 7 miles away. Okay. So 4-minute video. I always get some good footage from Who Took My Mojo 2014. Alright. Very good. Check the link out so you can see it in its entirety. Billy MEIER. Billy MEIER talks all about the Pleiadians. Says somewhere 1,340 photographs taken in outer space by Billy MEIER in 1975 are the possession of certain parties most likely affiliated with the CIA, America's actual secret government. The people who stole those photographs know a few things. They know that Billy MEIER's contacts with extraterrestrials, ongoing now for over 72 years, are authentic. They also know, but probably don't want to accept the fact that the best laid, most nefarious, deadly, and misguided plans for world domination set in motion decades ago are doomed to failure. And there's no gloating here, because the failure effectively means extremely bad things for the people of this country and many others. They know that MEIER's prophetic and predictive information is almost unerringly accurate. Their willfully ignorant and arrogant attitudes have mistakenly led them to believe that they could outsmart the prophecies. So what does this have to do with the 1,340 photographs that you and I will probably never see? The answer is related to how people think, or fail to think, or how they foolishly prioritize things that are effectively irrelevant. I say foolishly because these people, who by now should recognize the obvious and know better. A couple people recently decided to make a big fuss about this. Some of the remaining space photographs that have indeed appeared in various publications from FIGU, the volunteer organization that assists MEIER in disseminating his books and various writings, etc. FIGU had for some time given approval to the use of these photos and considered them genuine, or only slightly manipulated or falsified by other parties. However, they later considered them all to be suspect and unreliable. So an issue apparently arose for a couple of people who were very troubled that they still appeared in print, apparently with FIGU's approval. Now, if this were 20 or 30 years ago, perhaps there really would be an issue, but it isn't, and I'll explain why I say that my lack of information about the photos and my actual concern with the seemingly stubbornly illogical and misdirected concerns of the people worrying about them. Let's go on a little journey. Back in 1964, the extraterrestrials in contact and working with Billy MEIER presented the first of many opportunities for him to photograph their spaceships. This was the beginning of providing the eye candy to catch people's attention and ultimately to provide the countrywide controversy. These particular photos of Asket's ships were taken in a remote part of India in 1964 with as many as 100 witnesses present and were the subject of an article of India's oldest and most reputable newspaper. One of the most amazing of the photographs was the final one of MEIER sitting on the ground underneath a holographically projected cross in the sky. MEIER's Next, opportunities began in 75 with the official contacts with Simage began. From there, ongoing contacts, perhaps some 1,200 photographs, and at least 8 films and a video of the Pleiadian beam ships were taken along with sound recordings and metal samples of the ships. Various photos and films were examined, analyzed, tested, and authenticated by experts using the current state-of-the-art of technology in the early 80s. Most recently, Professor Ural Azahi did extensive test and analysis on both the WC UFO photos, of which there are 64 and a 5-minute video, and the pendulum UFO, which authenticated them. In fact, his authentication of the nighttime WC UFO photo can be duplicated by almost anyone with a computer, even a child. Professor Zala also included the illustration, companion video, and of course the protocols he used so that others can duplicate the tests according to the scientific method, clearly something lacking in most of ufology. Here's an enormously important point and distinction. All of these crafts were photographed and filmed within the terrestrial airspace. Many near familiar objects like trees, houses. The space photos, even if absolutely authentic, would be impossible to authenticate for various reasons. Okay, so good shots. More to the article. I'm going to leave that for you though to finish up. Moving from Billy MEIER, let's jump over here to this article at UFO or the Examiner called UFOs of the Mind. Morris Kerrigan. Most people think of UFOs as a relatively recent phenomena. It is true that UFOs didn't become a page 1 item until just after World War II, although even during the war, military planes were chased by what they called Foo Fighters. The supposed crash of a flying saucer in Roswell, New Mexico in July 1947 really brought the UFO phenomena to mass consciousness, and since then people have been fascinated by them, particularly the question of whether or not they were really visitors from space or some kind of mass illusion. But few people have bothered to ask another question. What if they were real, but they weren't visitors from space? One of the people who have asked that question is Jacques Vallée. He's a French UFO investigator who is the model for Lacombe, a character in the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He believes there's just too much evidence and reports by highly reputable people like airline pilots to believe that UFOs are just a product of suggestion or mass hysteria. However, he believes that they aren't necessarily from another planet piloted by little green men. The great Swiss psychologist Carl Jung also felt that they were as a real phenomena, but a phenomena of consciousness, and they were not necessarily spaceships from another world. Few people realize that seeing the strange lights in the sky didn't just start in the year 1950. Well over 100 years ago, people reported seeing giant mechanical-looking devices in the sky long before the Wright brothers even flew. One of the things Jung pointed out was the fact that UFO sightings tend to rise at times of great world stress. For example, the great wave of sightings in the 50s coincided with the development of nuclear weapons and the threat of their being used to wipe out all of life on Earth. Now it is possible that these UFOs might have been actual visitors from a world more advanced than our own, who were alarmed by the development of weapons that we didn't seem to know how to control, and which might have posed a threat to themselves. But this doesn't account for some aspects of the UFO phenomena, such as the fact that it is also associated with psychic phenomena in some cases, as Jung points out. It is also possible that it did indeed have something to do with beings from another world, or even another dimension, perhaps even our own future, who saw the danger we were in and wanted to do something to help us to avoid destruction, but didn't want to directly intervene. If anyone has seen Star Trek, it's like the Prime Directive, which didn't allow Kirk to intervene in the affairs of another situation, a directive which he was known to ignore on more than one occasion. Well, this is just all speculation. We may never know the truth. It is comforting to know that someone out there, E.T., may be looking out for us, somewhere out there. Alright, and very last, this is TV news crew filming a forest fire captures phenomenal UFO footage. Unidentified objects over the skies of Canada has caught the attention of several UFO watch websites. The object was spotted by local footage covering a fire in the West Kelowna area, British Columbia, roughly 2 hours north of the U.S. border. According to Canada's Casanet.net, the author of the initial report of the sighting claimed 37 seconds into the video, the UFO comes shooting out from a cloud right above the mountain and passes through a clear spot back into the next cloud. I was quite startled and surprised when I saw it. The UFO conspiracy film includes video, eyewitness recordings, and startling scriptural evidence from noted scholars, all combined to reveal the hidden truth about UFOs and the beings who operate them. The UFO left a thin trail of cloud vapor. As it exited the cloud, the author stated, "This to me eliminates any thought that this might be a camera, lens artifact, or light phenomena effect." So far, the video has been posted to several websites, including YouTube, latest UFOsightings.net, UFOsite.com, UFO Stalker, and now UFO Digest. And we got more for the link, or for the story. It's right there. And there you have it. That is our UFO news today. As you can see, each and every day there are sightings that take place. Each and every day. So it's pretty awesome. And how we can live in a world where people still say that there's nothing going on is beyond me. But we do live in a planet with billions of people. So not everybody is going to be on the same page. There could be kindergartners here, along with, those who have been here that be considered the college grads or the grad school grads. So we have life of a variety of experiences here. We can't expect everyone's going to be on the same page, and we certainly know they're not. All right, there you go. That's our UFO news. I'll be back in a moment, and we'll continue on with Bringers of the Dawn.
Come into our circle, Great Spirit. Fill our souls with peace.
Continue on. So on Thursdays over the last several weeks, I've been reading from the book Bringers of the Dawn, Barbara Marciniak's first book about the Pleiadian contacts that she has been experiencing, the communications, the channeling sessions. So today I'm going to continue on. We've made it through the first 6 chapters. Today, chapter 7. Here we go. Chapter 7, the multi-dimensional merge. You benefit by participating in the event of life. By simply being in physicality, you are endowed with experiences and characteristics that you cannot gather anywhere else. To be part of physicality on Earth at this particular time and during the last 200 to 300,000 years is a very potent event indeed, because it means that you've come to a place where darkness has been reigning. You've had to struggle to open your eyes in any capacity and to recognize joy and upliftment. If you think back over modern history, you will find that it has been a rare event indeed for people to have been lifting lives. Therefore, you must birth upliftment for yourself, and you must convince yourself that you can do it. The nature of the existence on Earth has been a struggle between light and dark for many eons. Some would call it a struggle between good and bad, or upliftment and evil. We will simply say that it is an event and a place where certain laws and rules exist, and that Earth is certainly not only a place in existence that deals with these kind of challenges. You are unique in that the biogenic structure of which you operate within has much greater capacity than you've ever dreamed of. It is so interesting to watch you perform with these struggles because you have been convinced that you can utilize only a small percentage of your potential. In actuality, you are grand creatures designed in the image of gods, even gifted with incredible potential. You have been controlled in such an extent that your potential has been denied its own existence. Most people use only 3 or 4% of their capabilities. Those who are more advanced may use 12 to 15% of their capabilities. Where does this leave most people? Where is the other 80 to 90%? What can that 90% of capabilities do? That 90% is awakening now, and the ancient eyes are going to begin to remember to see what the self is capable of being. When the ancient eyes are open and you recognize your true potential, you will stop arguing with yourselves. You will stop arguing for limitation, and you will begin to move beyond the things that you insist on using to hold yourselves back. In ancient times, it took many lifetimes. In ancient Egypt, it took many lifetimes for the initiate trained in the priesthoods to completely open their eyes to other realities. They were trained to reincarnate into certain families and to remember who they were. Mothers and fathers understood who they would be birthing because they would dream of it. They would know who was coming into their bodies before they even moved into conception. The eyes were much more open then. You could see the many different realities. They were called the eyes of Horus because you could look into many different worlds. The world of the awakening, the world of sleeping, the world of death, and the world of dreaming. You, who are waiting to open your ancient eyes, and who are the masters awakening, have experienced training in many other lifetimes. It is now time to integrate this training into a body, into a system that has nothing to do with temple life, into something that is not wanting to give you a place for your abilities. You are renegades, so your society is not waiting for you to bring your gifts forward as it was in ancient Egypt. There is no place to put your talents to work with officialdom, no sect within society. This is not how you are living yet, so you will go to the place that the body and the soul and the mind deem appropriate for the use of your talents. Do not chastise yourself, for you are not accelerating at the rate that your ego deems appropriate. The ego has eyes that see one part of yourself. The soul of the eyes of Horus that look through you has a completely different version of what is appropriate. Knowing your needs, your constitution, and your blueprint, you will operate at a pace that will keep you intact. Mental institutions are filled with people who open the ancient eyes and couldn't make sense of it, or to figure it out. They cannot find their home station. Without a place to plug in, the delicate balance of the nervous system is upset. You are rapidly developing your nervous systems, and there are ways to recognize it. Every once in a while, you're able to catch the pulsation that takes you out of physical reality as you know it, out of the frequency that is the third-dimensional identity. You are then able to move into another vibration and see, feel, and recognize that something out of the ordinary, something extraordinary is going on. It is usually then that denial comes in because the logical mind can't explain what is happening or get a grip on it. You deny the experience or block the memory of it. It is best if you stay in your intuition, if you rely on what you feel, and though it may not make logical sense, operate in trust. Impatience is a trap for many of you because you feel you need to move somewhere. Don't deny the virtues of the turtle who moves very slowly, stops to go inside and contemplate, is close to the ground and sees very well. When you desire an acceleration in this operating of the ancient eye, state your commitment. Thought is. Thought creates. If your thought is that you wish to move into acceleration with the greatest growth and ability, that is what you will do. When you doubt, that doubt is a thought too, and you will also create it itself. When doubt occurs, it stops the expansion process because you deny the subtlety of what is coming to you. You are in the decade that we have labeled the unnamed decade. This was the 90s. It is during this time that all the events are going to begin to occur upon Earth. Many events have already been occurring, but they have been sequestered away in a little compartmentalizations of officialdom. Officialdom is now outgrowing its own outfit and can no longer fit within the boundaries because it does not hold reality as it truly is evolving. Those of you who are ancients, who are the masters awakening as you awaken, we want you to be able to see out of the ancient eyes and to awaken something that you know, something that you remember, something that is deep inside. You're going to need to trust yourself and rely upon yourself. You need to be able to understand what you are seeing and translate the grander vision for others. You will come to an understanding or a vast implosion of consciousness that will move you to know who you've always been. It is up to you, and only you, to undo the locks and allow yourself to go forward. We have spoken about the beliefs and the importance of thought. We emphasize over and over again that you are a result of thought, that thought is, and that this is the essence of understanding, manipulating and working within your world. When you begin to take this process from the intellect and put it inside the body, and when you begin to commit your life this way, then the ancient eyes will really begin to see. As you begin to view your soul's history, your identity in this particular body, the I, may seem to be very insignificant. You had a magnificent essence expressed on this planet in very ancient times, and there is so much going on that you can presently perceive. It is as if existence is a book 3 feet thick, and you are the first couple of pages on this planet with the awakening of the new age. You're going through this whole book in your lifetime. As you contemplate, all the information in this story will flood your consciousness as you begin to drop the boundaries of where you think you and civilization existed and came from. As you begin to disassemble your identity, cherish, honor, and love your variety of identities that you are, and do not feel that any are insignificant. Honor each one, whether you are picking strawberries in the field or looking for cigarette built on the street corners. Allow the aspects of self that carries the primordial fire to express itself through you. You can still be the I when it is appropriate that you be the I. When the vastness of energy wishes to utilize your physical vehicle as part of the plan to affect reality, the I is not annihilated. Instead, the I is incorporated. This is becoming multidimensional. This is being able to move. We each know that you are here at a time sequence that is quite profound. The age that has been written about, whispered about, spoken about is upon you. It is the age when humanity physically mutates before your eyes and literally turns into something that it was not a short time before. What do human beings turn into? What is quite simple. Human beings turn into multidimensional beings. This is the big word and a big concept. However, it is something that will be as familiar to you as tying your own shoes. Multidimensional humans are humans that consciously exist in many different places all at once. Humans are mutating or evolving into beings with the abilities to flip from one station to another and to understand the grandness of who they are, and that they do not end where their skin ends. Human beings do not end where their aura or etheric body ends. They exist in many different realities. This is the age of the multidimensional self. The self who can move with awareness in many different realities. The self who can eventually bilocate and disappear. The self who can move into fourth dimensional consciousness, the perceiver, not the thinker. It is the age of the self who understands the thinking portion of the self is very important, and that is not to be the CEO of the physical body. It is to be the advisor. Intuition is the avenue that you are now being guided to cultivate and to bring about a marriage of consciousness. It is the marriage of the male aspect, which is logical, with the female aspect, which is feeling. It involves bringing them together to become one. It is time to get moving. You are a very crucial point. It is time for a huge change, a huge leap, a giving up, a releasing, a letting go. It is time to completely allow light and spirit to move you throughout your existence, and time to let yourself become one with the multidimensional aspects of self and portions of self that you have no idea exist. These aspects of self really do exist. They are connected to you, and you are and are using you, the standard bearer of your soul, as the vehicle of movement for the light in this universe at this time. Those within our group who plotted the probabilities of Prime Creator were correct in much of their time travel and anticipation. Indeed, Prime Creator is sending a change of vibration to this area of existence, this free will zone of consciousness. The action is taking place here on Earth now. It is starting here at one corner of the galaxy on the fringes at this end of the universe. This is a vast experiment, and it is with great excitement and great longing that each of you came to participate in. Have courage. We cannot emphasize that enough. Have courage, follow your inner guidance, and trust yourself. Call energy into your physical bodies and utilize it. Defy the laws of humanity, because that is what you came here to do. You are renegades, and we are renegades as well. There are those who cannot travel this route of consciousness, and that is fine. It is not an easy route that we move your consciousness through. The route will give you rewards that your soul is after, even though the rewards may come through battles. You are bushwhacking through consciousness, and you will come to a place within the vistas are grand, and you have complete new options in where to go, both on and off this planet. Those who are involved with you will discover that they have new options as well. All of the consciousness drawn to this planet this time will begin a spark of evolution that will change the universal structure. Think big, think really big, and go for it. Alright, we have a lot more to this chapter here. We'll finish up this page. Who are these multidimensional selves? Many times you have been led to believe that they are other portions of yourself, if that are much more together than you are, and that know much more than you do. To some extent that was true, and to some extent it still is true. However, you will find that in being the standard bearer of your soul, you will begin to activate data that is stored inside of your body that carries the whole history. How will you then know when these other aspects of self begin to show themselves? Well, this can be very subtle, or it can be like being hit over the head with a 2x4. It simply depends on the self. You may be sitting one day and find that all of a sudden, that upon blinking your eyes, are sitting in a different different room, is getting hit over the head with a 2x4. More subtly, you may be walking down the street looking out the window display when suddenly a mannequin or picture or a word triggers something inside of you. For a moment, you drift off. You get a clear image of a simultaneous identity of yourself existing at the same time as you. You begin to discover aspects of yourself that exist non-physically, or parts of the self that exist as beings working in space who are truly space creatures. The soul is going to wake up. I will know every aspect. It will know every aspect of itself, and every aspect of the soul self will know all of itself at once. You will be aware of all the realities at once. You will learn to ride in the vibrational rate and become fourth dimensional. You will develop this ability by first balancing 3 or 4 realities, then 5 or 6, and so on. You are awakening Prime Creator's abilities, and you'll become your Prime Creator. Your Prime Creator's goal in creating this universe and all other universes would develop itself to such an extent and to have so many multidimensional channels of data open that it, whose consciousness is in all things you know, could become aware of itself in all things, aware of every event that all things are evolved in, and compute this and not go insane. You are evolving this ability in yourself. Basically, the part of you that you're presently going through is the toughest part, because you are doubting and wondering if this was really real. The body says one thing and the mind says another. The body says one thing and society says another. Knowing is growing, and it is knowing of what is awakening inside of you. This last line, you must be committed all of the time. Okay. Well, it says, with these gifts and abilities begin to be first-hand experiences for you. You must learn to work with them no matter what. Begin to know that you are divinely guided, and that all your events are drawn to you for your upliftment, no matter what kind of upheaval they seem to produce in your life. Ultimately, these events will make you richer. The present situation is like someone dumping barrels full of gold in your backyard and saying, "Gosh darn it, the gold is wrecking the grass." You think the lawn isn't as beautiful as it used to be because of all the gold is being dumped there. Alright, so there you go. Now, this book was written in the 90s. It's 2014, so years have passed since its writing. It talks about the beginning phases of these changes, and over the years, since this book has been written, we have gone through a lot of changes. Many souls are awakening to what is going on in the world. Many souls are awakening to understanding the lies and the manipulation that has taken place down here on planet Earth. And many souls are understanding who's really running the show and who isn't. So with all of this understanding, what we're really coming to find out is the more that we go inside, the more that we get to know ourselves, the better we are, individually and collectively. It's only when we continue reaching outside of ourselves, being selfish, in other words, continuing to following the ways of the physical world, which is only interested in the physical world, that's when we run into the problems. Because, as we all know, there are many situations out in life that really don't honor anything more than the physical world. And if for no other reason, just to look at life as a recipe and to see that a good portion of the recipe exists in something other than physical form, yet there are those who are content with only doing the physical part of the recipe, you're missing the full picture. And so that's what we need to do. We need to get the full picture of what's really going on in our lives. And the only way we do that is when we take the time and set forth the intention to do that. We all have the ability. No one is immune. Nobody is without the opportunity. We just have to make the effort. Here's an article over at In5D. It says, Gregg Braden, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, by Bhavika. Wherever we plant our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. Earl Nightingale. The subconscious mind is the storeroom with an unlimited capacity. All your memories, past experiences, deepest beliefs, everything that has ever happened to you is permanently stored. In simplest terms, the subconscious is a part of you outside of your conscious awareness that creates automatic programs, makes functioning easier in your life without having to pay attention to anything else you are doing. Like driving a car, a beginner who is learning to drive would be completely focused on driving without engaging in a conversation with anybody in the car. But after a few weeks or months of practice, that person would be able to ease while driving, since it becomes a habit and is registered in the subconscious mind. Subconscious is active all day and night, whether you act upon it or not, controlling all functions of your body like breathing, heartbeat, and even our nervous system. Neuroscience has recognized that the subconscious controls 95% of our lives. The first 6 years of your life is when the subconscious mind is programmed, and it is much more powerful than your conscious mind. Its job is to ensure that you respond exactly the way that you are programmed. Your subconscious mind to make everything you say and do fit into a pattern consistent with your self-concept, your master program, and that's why it's important that you filter what is embedded in it. If the subconscious mind is so powerful, how does it reprogram it? How to make positive changes in one's life? To reprogram our conditioned thinking, which might be pulling you down from a life, living the life that you always wanted to. Your thoughts have the power to manifest in reality. The choice is yours. Here's a good picture. You've probably seen this one before. This top here of the iceberg represents part of our mind, and yet this is the subconscious. Look how much is underneath the water. Most of it. So that's how it is with us. The majority of what we seek to bring forth in life is part of our subconscious reality. We need to learn how to bring it forth. It says to change our lives, we need to do more than change our thoughts. We have to go deeper than that and change our programming. To change our subconscious mind with the present conscious understanding that you're going takes time, because it involves bringing down the old neural pathways and creating new connections in your brain. But the good thing is that the subconscious learns through repetition, and that's how it picked up the negative patterns or bad habits in the first place. By spending time each day affirming the new beliefs or programming or thought pattern, you can effectively change your life or reality. Take time every day sowing the seeds of your new programming, repeating mantras or positive affirmations that have the power to raise your vibration and make a lasting impression in your subconscious mind. According to Paramahansa Yogananda, loud or silent repetition of inspiring words has been found effective in various systems of psychotherapy. The secret lies in stepping up the mind's vibratory rate. Some of the words and some of the repetitions are right here. We use them. I love and respect myself. I am filled with peace, harmony, and joy. I attract good things into my life. My positive thoughts produce positive things. All right, let me jump forward here. Meditation is very important. That's why we do it, to calm our minds. Getting creative allows us to bring forward what is in our subconscious mind. Okay, last part here says follow your instincts. Intuition is the connection between the subconscious and the conscious mind. Your subconscious mind applicably converses with the conscious mind all the time. This is the inner voice or gut feeling which you must listen to. Positive people have been reported to have stronger sense of intuition. There are other ways to unlock the power of the subconscious mind, from clinical therapy to energy psychology or even brainwave environment. Once you start living in harmony with your inner self and your subconscious state, your life will be transformed. Okay? So there you have it. Good article. Very important. And again, more confirmation of what we know. Because on the show, it's not like we talk about new concepts all the time. We talk about the same concepts over and over and over again. Over and over and over again. So there's plenty of opportunity for repetition. And in this repetition, which is one of the things discussed, we learn a great deal about ourselves. We learn that through this repetition, we're able to bring forth into life the things that we want. Look on the flip side how repetition is used. Somebody turns on a channel, one of the news channels that's out there. What do you get? Repetition over and over and over. From 1 hour to the next person comes on to report, and they basically are doing the same thing the person before them did, and so on and so forth. They just repeat the same thing over and over. They all do it. Repetition is what we move along according to. We're creatures of habit, and we repeat what we see. We mimic others, and that's how we've gotten through life. And sometimes we've mimicked and we've followed along with bad ideas, and sometimes with good ideas. The thing is, we have a sense of knowing what is right and wrong. We truly do, each and every one of us. But we allow ourselves to accept more wrong and to turn our back against those who are ignoring what is right, rather than paying more attention to what is right and dismissing that which is wrong. If we just start doing the things that we know will benefit us, we'll be so much better. But we keep listening to the wrong voices that lead us into war and battles in all the places where we shouldn't go, and all the places that we are told we should avoid from all of the spiritual books, the prophecies and everything. So paying more attention down here would probably do us a whole lot of good. And I know a lot of us are paying attention, but there's still a lot that aren't. Still a lot that aren't. All right, the message for today, High Council of Orion.
See the glistening sunbeams, channeled ascension message from the High Council of Orion.
August 25, 2014. Channeled by Holly Hawkins Marwood. Transcribed by Holly Hawkins Marwood.
The Council.
Greetings, dear ones. We are the High Council of Orion. As this channel Holly, and her partner Paul, sit by a beautiful lake, high up in the mountains where we have called them to be at this point in time for some rest and rejuvenation and recalibration, we bring forth the metaphor of the water. The water being, whether it's a pond or lake, or even a pool, any body of water you can see that on the top of it is greatly affected by all of the experiences happening in the world around it. The surface of the water can easily become agitated by the wind, by rain, by fish, and other creatures dancing in and on the surface. Yet, as you dive deeper down, there is a stillness, as you dive deeper into the essence of the water within the lake or the pond. We would ask you to be aware of the same for yourselves. How much are you focused on the surface that's so easily ruffled by the slightest breeze in your life, by the slightest occurrence? Are you living with the ripples, waves and the disquietude on the top, on the surface, what seems most obvious, or are you spending some time diving deep into the essence of who you are, the essence of the world that you are within, to find that quietude that you would find diving deep down in the water where it is less affected by the surface experience? As the winds of your life ruffle the surface of your experience in life, perhaps creating upset and unbalance or distress, you can dive within by asking yourself, what is a deeper meaning of this? Where is my place of peace within these circumstances that are ruffling the surface of my life? Some of you might find that deeper level of peace by meditation, but it can occur through your walks in nature, your time listening to beautiful music, or just sitting and watching the clouds fly by. Our point today is just drawing your awareness to how your experiences in life can come up like a gust of wind blowing across the surface of your life, creating what appears to be chaos and turmoil or distress. But diving down deeper, you can find the truth of what those experiences are and how you can find your peace within all of the unsettled energies. Remember also, that as wind is playing across the surface of the water, the sunlight can dance across the surface, creating beautiful colors that are almost jewel-like, and holding your awareness that sometimes the surface being ruffled and rippled by life's events can have some beautiful things happening within it and because of it. Sometimes it's just a shift in your perspective from seeing rocky waters to seek glistening sunbeams. Be blessed. We are the High Council of Orion.
Alright, very nice message from the High Council of Orion. That brings us to our meditation for today. So let's go ahead and close our eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. Exhale again. And again, another deep breath. Imagine yourself walking along the path of life, and as you do so, you're feeling all of the energy around you. And amidst the energy, you experience words and vibrations that come from a variety of different sources. Some of the sources are sources of enlightenment, and you understand that the words and the actions are helping you to evolve. Other words and information come from unenlightened sources, and you see others getting caught up in this. You don't know why. It's like a net. But you avoid this because you understand the nature, the origin of the information. And as you continue to walk through life, you begin to experience more and more the understanding of whether the energy and the ideas presented come from enlightened or unenlightened sources. And as you experience the unenlightened sources, you just send love to it, and you find that those sources easily dissipate because there is no foundation of truth amongst them. So you imagine yourself walking along the path of life, just sending out love. And as you walk along, you see people arguing because they're caught up in the lies from the unenlightened. And you send love to them like a ray of light, and it dissipates. Let's imagine sending love right now to all of the media stations around the country. And let's just imagine all of the unenlightened beings at these places just disappearing. Gone, off the planet. No more Bill O'Reilly, no more Anderson Cooper, no more MSNBC Rachel Maddow or Wolf Blitzer. Let's just imagine all of those unenlightened souls gone. And when we look to our governments and we understand the unenlightened souls there, let's just imagine them all gone as well, because we know there is no enlightenment amongst them. There's only deceit and power-hungry individuals, so we just dismiss those ideas because those are not the ways of God. And we just imagine all of those unenlightened souls just going to a place where they are recycled, reinformed about life. And we imagine the planet evolving forward with only the enlightened souls. And we experience life progressing smoothly and easily, because those who were providing the resistance to the truth are gone. So let's believe in our hearts, and let's believe in every being of our being that we can stand against all of the darkness of the world, and we can be victorious, that we can stand against all of the unenlightened, and we can shine bright. And to know that each and every one of us upon this planet makes a difference, and that when one of us becomes strengthened and stands up against the corruption, the darkness, we all become strengthened. Let's contemplate the words of today's affirmation. I spread joy and inspiration wherever I go. I spread joy and inspiration wherever I go. And let's just imagine ourselves sending out joy and inspiration. And let us just imagine ourselves experiencing a world full of love and beauty and positivity because of this. Now let's just hold that idea of a world of positivity, of love, of harmony. Let the subconscious mind continue on to that journey. And let our conscious mind come back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's it for today. Thank you very much for being here. I will be back tomorrow. We'll have some more news and information, and of course continue on with our Jesus discussion. Until then, you have an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and let's make this world a positive place of enlightenment that we want it to be. That's it. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.